to plan out your week ahead of time with room for flexibility. And yeah, so same thing with blocking out writing time. You want to have some sort of ideas about the things you have to do in that week and be able to work writing into that. Maybe if you have an event someday, you have to plan to write more another day so you don't fall off track. Yeah, I don't know. Anything
exactly. Yeah, like if you know your weekend's going to be really busy, try to write more throughout the weekday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look ahead at your schedule and plan accordingly. Yep. Yeah. Okay. Now we have tip number 17, which I think is a very important one, and that is to don't let yourself go a single day without writing. So write every day. First of all, like Evangeline said, then you get the badge on NaNoWriMo.org.
Yeah.
But also, that way you keep motivation and you get into the habit of it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that way you don't let yourself take too long of a break too.
Yeah, like Blair was saying, she takes a break for a day, sometimes it turns into a long time.
Yeah.
And I can definitely relate to that. So if you at least plan to write every single day, even if you don't reach your goal and you only get 20 words, it'll help keep you going and keep your momentum
Exactly.
throughout the month. Our next one is kind of a tricky one. Number 18, don't be too hard on yourself if you don't reach your daily goal. Yeah, I definitely am hard on myself if I don't reach my daily goal.
I feel like that can be good for you though. So it can be don't be too hard on yourself. It's not the end of the world. And then you can make it up the next day. That gives you more motivation. But also, it can be good to be somewhat hard on yourself.
Yeah.
Because that way you won't do it again and you'll write more.
It is good to keep some consistency with your writing goals and make sure you're writing every day that you can and you don't just fall completely off track. But it's also not the end of the world. Don't give up because you missed one day of writing. You can definitely stay on track even if you do not reach your word count goal every day. But definitely don't plan on not reaching your word count goal every day.
But if it comes to it, if you're like Evangeline, you can write your whole 50,000 words in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well,
okay. Tip number 19 is to write or aim for your word count goal. So, I think that is important or helpful because if you're aiming for higher, you're more likely to actually reach your goal. Because if you're just aiming for your goal, you could fall 500 words short.
Mm-hmm.
It's easier to do that than if you're aiming, if you need to write only 1,000 words that day.
Yeah.
But if you aim for 2,000, first of all, that'll get you ahead.
Mm-hmm.
But also, you're more likely to reach the actual goal.
Yeah. Basically, if you write more than you're supposed to, bonus. Plus, if you write less than your word count goal, or your over your word count goal, you might still hit your word count goal even if you don't write extra. So always plan to write as much as you can every day.
Yeah.
All right, number 20. Again, we were a bit sleepy when we wrote this, and it does say write at the same time, place, and time to create routine. But I think you guys know what that means. So, yeah, basically what we were saying earlier, if you create a routine, it's easier to follow your writing goals, reach them, not fall behind. Not say your routine will work every day because there's definitely some exceptions, some things you have to do potentially during your normal writing time, but it will definitely help you stay on track.
Yeah, and it's like getting your brain in the habit. Like, if every day at 4 o'clock you sit down at your desk and you write 1,000 words, then it'll become habit, and it won't be that hard to do over time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Alright, tip number 21 is to join writing sprints online. So, there are a lot of YouTube authors who do host writing sprints, especially for NaNoWriMo. There are a lot of them, and those can be motivating. They can also distract you, but if they're motivating for you, definitely utilize that, because it's free and you're there with a community of other writers.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And this is a new tip for me. I don't really join online writing sprints. I've joined some of yours, Blair, but not often. I don't often enjoy live streams, but that does sound like it might work, so maybe I'll have to try it.
Abby Emmons does a lot of them.
Ah, okay.
So do many of the other 100 other tubers I gave you.
Well,
Yeah. So yeah, that's a good tip. It depends though, because it can distract you, because some of them have distracted me. Most of the time they're motivating, but you know how they have you might not know, the little chat.
Yeah.
If you go there and you're talking, then you're not writing like you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
So don't be talking in the chat.
Yeah, but it's not any more distracting than having your phone next to you and your friends texting you.
Exactly.
So maybe just
yeah.
Avoid distractions.
Yeah.
But if it helps, definitely join an online writing sprint.
And if you haven't done it, definitely give it a try.
Yeah. No harm in at least trying one out.
Exactly.
Okay. Next one is number 22, which is find time to write and write in every spare second you have. I mean, yeah. So during NaNoWriMo, obviously this is going to be more of a problem if you get behind and you have to cram words, which I have had to do. Definitely, don't write too much that you burn out, but you're gonna want to write a lot over NaNoWriMo, so write in any time you can find. If you're motivated to write, definitely write right then, because that is really rare. You gotta seize the moment, gotta write. But definitely take breaks, but also find a lot of time to write, because that is essential for completing your goal. I'm starting to feel like some of these things are contradictory, but
yeah, but it's okay. Okay, so after school, I feel like I can get distracted really easily. So, utilizing time when I have it is important. So, maybe this year I'm going to try writing on the bus.
Yeah.
Or study halls. Use them. Although I only have one a week.
Yeah.
I normally do homework during it, but...
Yeah.
And, if you have time, downtime, and you don't have anything to do, and you don't have anything you really want to do, and you're kind of bored. Right, of course.
Yeah,
because
right.
you gotta get your words.
Yep.
Yeah. And also, if you're doing that, in the morning or the middle of the day, that's great, because then that means no matter what happens at the end of the day, you can still get your words.
Yep.
Yeah. So tip number 23 is to try not to juggle multiple projects. I have seen people trying to write 4 different books for NaNoWriMo, and they do a different one each day. That is very difficult.
Yeah, I would not recommend that, because maybe if you're a pro author, you've been doing this forever, it's really easy for you, go for it. For the general, normal, non-alien human beings, this tends to not work, because it's very distracting. It's hard to put all of your energy into a project if it's split 4 ways. And it's just easy to be I don't maybe you don't like one of those projects. I don't know. It can be easy to fall behind. So try to stick to one. If you know working 4 projects works out great for you, then why wouldn't you write 4 projects?
Yeah.
You know?
But like, also if you're doing 4 projects, you have to like invest in all of them. Like, it takes me time to get into one story.
Yeah.
And if you're doing 4, first of all, you have to do 4 times the Preptober work.
Yeah.
Because you have to get all the like beforehand work done for all of your projects.
Yeah.
And then daily, you have to get into the story, and you have to remember where you picked off, because the other day you were doing a different project.
Yeah, so, I don't know. Everyone's different. Maybe it works for you. Definitely, if you're an author noob, I would not recommend 0 out of 10. But, you know, whatever works for you. You do you.
Exactly.
Okay, number 24. Don't worry about perfection. This is something I have to get used to. Basically, NaNoWriMo is really its word count goal. You're not editing. I guess you could edit for NaNoWriMo. I don't actually know if you can. We're just gonna assume you're trying to write your book. If you get bogged down by the tiny little details, going back and editing, that's stuff for after NaNoWriMo. Just write your words. Don't think about perfection. It's not going to be perfect. If you're feeling unmotivated, maybe it's not your best writing, but it doesn't matter because you can just go back and fix it after NaNoWriMo. But try to leave your NaNoWriMo space just for working on writing, and don't worry about perfection. Every author participating in NaNoWriMo, no one is going to write a perfect 50,000 words first try. That is just unrealistic. So don't worry about having your first draft, or I don't know, this is gonna be my second draft. Don't worry about perfection when you're just writing words down.
Yeah, especially if it's your first draft. Like, you're probably going to rewrite it, or at least, no matter your draft, you're going to edit it.
Yeah.
So you can fix the mistakes. So, like, this is mostly just about being fast, writing down a lot of words.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. And tip number 25 is don't edit. Basically, same thing. You're going to edit after.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't go back and edit while you're writing. You're adding unnecessary work to yourself. It is much easier to just write 50,000 words no matter how good or how bad they are, and just, I don't know, push through it, get to the end, and definitely edit afterwards.
Yeah.
But don't think about editing during NaNoWriMo, because that's not what NaNoWriMo is for.
Yeah, and unless you have a lot of free time on your hand, you're probably not going to have enough time to write 50,000 words and edit all 50,000 words.
Yeah. If you can, then, you know, you
then,
do
yeah,
you.
go ahead.
You do you.
Yeah.
But if that does sound very daunting to me, and it probably seems very daunting to other people, also it can be rather unmotivating to try and edit at the same time as writing. Mm-hmm. Normally those things are 2 separate processes, and yeah, so I just not worry about editing at all during November. December editing, great, perfect,
yeah,
do it, but November, nope.
And I don't know about you, but I really do not like editing.
I love editing.
What?
Yes.
You should edit my books. Well, you kind of do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll edit your books.
Okay, so thank you. Yeah, I don't like editing, so I would not be spending any of November editing.
Yeah.
No, and then also December is a great month to edit. Like,
yeah, you know?
When November's over, NaNoWriMo's over, and you kind of are like taking a sort of break, but also keeping the momentum going, editing's great.
You can bug all your family during Christmas break with beta reading your book, you know?
Yeah, good plan. Give it to all your family members who come over for Christmas. Hey, do you want to beta read my book?
Yeah, I'd find that really intimidating. I'd actually not do that. But,
okay, true, same.
If that works for you.
Yeah, I'd ask my friends. I'd go to school and be like, do you want to read my book?
Yeah.
Actually, they probably wouldn't even do that. I'd text them. I'd be like, do Do you want to read it?
Anyway,
yeah.
December, guys, not November.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, tip number 26 is write everywhere. I was talking about the bus and how I'm probably not going to do that anymore because I find it annoying. But also, if you're low on time, I definitely would take every opportunity you can to write. Last NaNoWriMo, I got stuck in Minnesota and I finished NaNoWriMo in the Mall of America. So
Nice.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so definitely write wherever you can write at a cafe. I don't know. You don't have to be. It's good to have a routine, but if you break the routine, you're going to want to be able to write everywhere.
Yeah. And if you work and you have like a long commute, did I say that right? A long commute in which you're not driving, that's a great opportunity to write. Like if you're on a, I don't know, what do people ride? Trains, buses?
Buses.
Yeah, you know, right. Yeah.
Passenger seat of a car.
Yeah, passenger seat of a car.
Yep.
Definitely
Depends if you can write offline or not, but that's that's a you issue. You figure that out.
Yeah. Okay, tip number 27 is that if you're going to do plotting, do most of it before NaNoWriMo. And this goes back to like what we were saying before, like during NaNoWriMo, you want to be focused on getting the words down. You don't want to have to worry about plotting, or like if you plotted it and then you want to replot it and do more. Like, it takes more time.
Yeah.
Time that you could not have. I mean, if you have the time to do it, go ahead, but...
You definitely could plot at the same time. It is just helpful that you don't plot and write at the same time, because that's just stressful, and you're not going to get as many words down. Normally, I know this video or podcast might have been more helpful before October.
True.
Because we're coming to the end of Preptober now, but Preptober is really more of your plotting time, and if that bleeds into November, okay, but you're going to need to think about how to plot and write at the same time, and I don't want to do that, but you know, whatever works for you. Again, if that is something you want to do, I'm not going to stop you.
Also, if you have it plotted out ahead of time, it makes it way easier because you know the direction you're going and you can see like the path of what the next couple of chapters will look like.
Yep. I am a pantser and I am attempting plotting for the very first time.
Yeah. I don't have the time to plot because I have to write and finish my book in the next 3 days.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's sad.
Mm-hmm. I also don't know what the conflict in the second book is.
Oh dear.
I don't know what's happening in it.
Gotta
I just know
take
he's
your
dying.
own advice, Blair.
I really do. I know my characters and I know my setting. Okay, I don't. Okay. It's enough.
All right. You can judge Blair for hypocrisy.
I meant to finish my book in July, and then it changed to August, and then September, and then October, and now it's NaNoWriMo, and I have a problem. But
yeah.
Don't do that.
Okay.
But yeah, okay.
Blair's a bad example.
Yeah, bad example.
Number 28 is know what time of day you work the best. I mentioned I'm not a morning person, so writing in the morning generally does not work out well for me. It'll probably be a strand of random words, and it will either sound very grumpy or very delirious. But I am a nighttime person, so writing late at night is normally when I get my best ideas. So that's how I kind of form my routine, is I write later in the day, and I don't worry about writing in the morning when I am sleepy and angry and I don't want to do anything.
Yeah, and also if you could try out different times throughout October, mind you, that's pretty much done, to figure it out. I personally write better and like faster in the morning, although I don't really have time for that because of high school, but the problem comes in the nighttime when it gets too late. And eventually read something I wrote late at night once.
Yes.
I completely
It was very, very interesting.
I basically took the story completely off its plot. I was like, we're gonna change this whole thing.
Yeah.
And go insane.
Yeah,
so,
that was interesting.
Yeah, I had no idea what was going on, so I can't I can't write late at night, and Evangeline can't write early in the morning. So you gotta figure out what's best for you.
Yep.
Yeah, the afternoon's a nice sweet spot. I can write in the afternoon.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. Tip number 29 is to set aside a time for writing.
We kind of already said this like 3 times.
Yeah,
but
we're very repetitive.
Yeah, do it, guys.
Yeah.
It's very important. That's why we said it 3 times.
Yeah, we don't even need to elaborate. Yeah, just do it.
Do it. Don't wait for inspiration to hit you. You have to go fast. Speed.
Yeah.
So, yeah, basically translating my own words, inspiration, motivation, those are things that hit authors very rarely. So, if you're not really motivated, which is what I probably meant instead of inspired, I don't know. If you're not motivated, you still gotta write, I'm sorry, but motivation is not something that you can just always have. You gotta write even if you just feel like, I don't know, crying into the floor and perishing.
So if you want to complete this, you have to write, and for me personally, I really never have motivation to write.
Yeah.
But if I get myself to sit down and write, after, by 10 minutes in, I'll be in my story and I'll want to be writing for a long time.
Yeah.
It can take, give it a couple minutes. Write for 10 minutes. And if it's not working for you, try setting a timer.
Take a break.
Or take a break.
But you can't wait for motivation to hit you, because it just doesn't happen that often. If you are motivated to write, take advantage of it, because that is a rare feeling.
Exactly. Every second when you actually are motivated, and if you have the time, write. Use it, because you're not going to have that for long.
Yeah.
Probably. Unless you're a very lucky person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, so that is all our 30 tips for NaNoWriMo, and, see you soon.
Yeah, see you soon.
And now for
some bloopers. So our next tip I wrote